I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. England is here. It's been a long awaited, but we have finally got to the World Cup. I am joined to my right by West Ham Online. West Ham Online, how are you?
Good. For the next few weeks, I'm going to be called England Online. I'm only joking, but yeah.
Well, that's all right, mate. I'm glad to hear it. First of all, before we get started, are you happy about the World Cup this year, or is it sort of a you can't be bothered sort of thing?
I can be bothered now. I'm quite excited for it now.
Yeah.
But I never really agree with the mid-season World Cup. To be honest, West Ham were playing absolutely crap, so couldn't really have come on a better season. If it was last year or the year before, I'd have been fuming.
I think it's the perfect time for us as West Ham fans to get over the shit season that we're having and concentrate on this. So let me come into it. I'll start off with this. What do we expect from England in this World Cup, basically?
I think we've got to aim to win it, obviously. It won't be easy, but we've got to the semi-final of the last World Cup. We got to the Euros final.
Right.
And I think although we've been in poor form in the Nations League, tournament-wise, we're in very good form. And there's no denying we've got a great side. So I see no reason why we shouldn't look to win it, really.
I look at it like this. I think the first game will decide how England are going to play. I think if England play Iran first game and take care of them, no problems, I think England could have a good World Cup. I think they struggle to beat Iran, then it goes into the USA game and the Wales game, which we'll talk about later. It could be a problem. I think Southgate's got to sort himself out in this World Cup and be a bit more positive. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think Southgate, he's done well for us at tournaments, but the football has always been a bit deceiving. Like, it's not always been the best. So I'd like us to play some attractive football. I don't think we will, but I think we've got some very good players, and like Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden. There's an abundance of talent in that squad, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be looking to play some nice football.
I agree. I just want to see England play well. Like, do I think England are going to win this competition? I don't believe so. I think England will probably get knocked out in the sort of quarterfinals and final stage. I think there's better teams in it, all-round teams, and I think there's better teams who can deal with the climate of Qatar. But I expect England to have a good go. The team, like the 26-man team, I'm a bit strange for me, but it is what it is. I'm going to come to your lineup that you sent me earlier. This is your lineup for the first game. England, Iran. Talk us through that.
Well, Iran are not the best team in the tournament, and for me, I personally in the knockouts would probably choose to start Calvin Phillips somewhere in that team. But for this first game, I think we need Jude Bellingham. Phillips has been out injured, obviously, but I'd like to see a front four of Foden, Saka, Kane and Sterling, then that positivity from Bellingham with Rice sitting, just because I want to see us on the front foot to set the tempo for the tournament. And I'd like to see us go at Iran, really, because it's very clear we've got the much better team. Another thing was I considered Ben White at right back, but I went for Kieran Trippier because he's more attacking. And as I said, I want us to set the tone for the tournament.
What is big?
I've made a huge error there. Sorry, I don't mean White at centre back. I mean John Stones.
Yeah, I did. I look at that. That's why I done my one.
Yeah,
I done my lineup, and I was like, I wonder why he's put White in there, because this is my lineup. I actually went for Ramsdale in goal. I think Ramsdale did a good season for Arsenal, and I think he's better than Pickford at the minute. I changed White for Stones, and I basically kept the same team as basically what you have. Going back to your team, is that front four powerful enough to get the job done against Iran? It should be, but Raheem Sterling for me has been poor this season, massively.
Yeah, he has, but he always turns up in major tournaments for England. I
Mm.
think when we played Germany, I was there when we played Germany and drew 3-3, and I thought he was fantastic. So as bad as he's been for Chelsea, I sort of will look past that. Same for Harry Maguire. And I know how good he's been for England, so give him the nod.
Yeah, I agree. For me, Bellingham, if Bellingham has a good World Cup, I think England have got a good chance. I like Drew Bellingham. I think people look at him and overrate him sometimes, but I do like Drew Bellingham. Foden, another one. If he can turn the Manchester City form into the England form, then I think we've got another top class player there. Obviously, Harry Kane up front. I think defensively, that's your best you're going to get. Maybe Trent could play as right back, but
Yeah,
it's whether or not you fancy him against them sort of teams. Personally, I would use Trent. I think Trent's delivery of balls from the right hand side are deadly. Really, defensively, he is suspect. I will say that. But we will move on to
yeah, I
this.
love Trent. I do love Trent, but Southgate don't really seem to rate him that highly, does he?
Not really. No. Right. 3-4-3 or 4-3-3. For me, I'll go first. When England play a three at the back, they just don't look the same team. I see it quite a few times. I think when you play three at the back, it suits certain teams and certain managers for me. I don't see it with England, like I don't see it with West Ham, really, when they play 3-4-3. I like a 4-3-3. I think when England are going forward with the amount of talent that we have, we should be blasting teams away. Defensively, we are poor, let's be honest. Defensively, we are a bit suspect there. But our front three, if not six, from midfield into attack, we should be able to go through teams, in my opinion. What you saying on that?
Yeah, I prefer 4-3-3 as well. We sort of went a bit mix and match in the Euros for between the both, and I thought we looked better when we had the four. In the final, we sort of dropped into a 3 in the end, and I thought we sat off Italy too much, gave them too much respect. So, yeah, I would have liked us to have played a 4-3-3 in that game and sort of pulled on the pressure after we got that early goal and not sat off. I thought that cost us in that game, if I'm honest. So, yeah, I'd like to see us play a 4-3-3 personally.
Right, let's have a look then. Basically, we've talked about systems, we've talked about the personnel, we've talked about the games. England versus Iran, and then USA versus Wales. I'll start off with USA versus Wales, and then we'll work our way back. What do you reckon on USA Wales? I like USA. Even though Lucas is not a adamant USA supporter, as in football wise, he does say that they've got a few good players. I look at like Brendan Harrison. They've got a couple of players over in Germany who are decent players. McKenna, obviously Christian Pulisic. They've got some good players. What do you make of USA Wales, and what are you predicting for that game?
Yeah, I think if I'm honest, I think USA probably have the better team actually over Wales this year. Wales obviously have Gareth Bale who can change a game in an instant, especially for Wales, and I'd say he's probably one of Britain's greatest ever players. But USA have got Tyler Adams, who I've been very impressed with since he joined Leeds. Aronson, who you mentioned, I think he's a fantastic player. Weston McKennie had attitude problems at times at Juve, but there's no doubt in his quality. Pulisic, I think's a very, very, very good player in the right system. He's not shown it in the Premier League for a while, but we all know what he can do. And some players seem to change it for the national team. So I think he's one of them. They've got Matt Turner in goals, the Arsenal backup. I must admit, I don't think he's very good. But overall, I'd say their team's very strong for a USA team. Don't get me wrong. USA, you have a country of their size and calibre, probably should have a better team than what they've had over the years. But obviously, football's not their primary sport. So,
who would you say? Who would you say has got the better squad for you out of the pair of them?
I'd say the USA do.
Yeah, why is that?
I think you've got more in terms of player profiles. I think you've got more different profiles. I think you've got a strong midfielder in Adams, a box to box in McKennie, a creative midfielder in terms of Aronson. Not sure who the USA are going to play up front, but yeah, they've got some decent defenders. Tim Ream, I've not always been his biggest fan, but he's done well at centre back for Fulham this year. Same for Robinson at left back for Fulham. And then when you look at the Wales squad, bar Bale, you've got Aaron Ramsey, who's on his day is a phenomenal midfielder, but he's not turned up in a while. And then apart from that, you're struggling. I really, really like Ben Davies, I must admit. I think he's hugely underrated for Tottenham. I think he's one of Tottenham's better players this season. But Brennan Johnson, I don't think he's very good, if I'm honest. Dan James, he's got pace, but he's okay. That's where it ends for me. And I think in the midfield, USA will win that battle.
I thought, do you know what? You must have read my mind. I've just got their team line up out. And I look at their midfield and some of the names that they've got. They've got Giovanni Reina, Claudio Reina's son. Yeah. Excellent player. Obviously, Aronson, McKennie. Who else they got? Anton Robinson, Fulham player. I think he's a decent player there. Zimmerman, I think he plays for Norwich. Aaron Long's their centre half. They've got some good central midfield players. I mean, like people who can play in central midfield and do a pretty good job. So I actually think USA might turn Wales over, even though I've got like family who are from the Wales. I think USA will turn them over. I think USA are a stronger side. And I think with Wales, they rely too much on Gareth Bale to get the job done. Do you know what I'm saying? I think USA's midfield and attack line, they haven't really got a good centre forward. I would say that. But I think if you put Christian Pulisic up front, you're literally pushing him up front as a centre forward. So, like, I think they've got a good midfield and a good base to work off. And a lot of these players that I'm looking at, like Disc, who's ex-Barcelona player, they got some decent talent there. So I'm going to say a USA win there. What are you saying for that? USA win?
Yeah, I think USA will edge them 2-1 probably, but I think it'll be a very, very close game because Wales, in their first World Cup since 1958, they'll want to turn up, and I imagine the players will be well up for it, especially Gareth Bale.
Right, let's go to England, Iran. Is this a case of how many goals England score on Monday, or is it a case of just win the game, right, and get the job done? Doesn't matter how England perform.
I hope we reach a point where we can start worrying about how many goals we score, but England aren't usually the best in opening games of tournaments, and let's not forget we were horrendous, like absolutely horrendous in the Nations League, losing 4-0 to Hungary, for example. So it's just a game we need to win. I hope there are some positive signs, but as long as we win this game, then we can sort of get a sigh of relief out of ourselves a little bit, because remember, the World Cup group stages is only 3 games, so you can't afford to lose games even when you play well. It's not like the Premier League where you can lose a game and play well and say, oh, we'll be back next week. This is different. We need the results now. So we need to play well, but the result's the most important thing at the end of the day in these knockout tournaments. And for me, I think we need to be on the front foot and try and get the game done early.
Yeah. Give us a scoreline for that game.
I'll go 1-0 England.
I'm going to say 2-0 England. I think England might just turn up, get the job done, shut up shop, and just say to Iran, come and break us down. I don't think it's going to be a demolition job from England. If it is, then the signs are positive for England, in my opinion. If it isn't, I'm not going to get too giddy. I think the USA game is massive. I think if USA beat Wales, that game is huge on the 25th of November. So we will see what happens there. And let's go to that right now and talk about it. And it's this: Iran, Wales, England, USA. Let's start off with Iran, Wales. For me, the first game is key. But then I honestly think if Wales lose against the USA, I can actually see this game being a draw, but I do think Wales are. You just don't know what Wales turn up. If Gareth Bale turns up with Ramsey and they're on it, they can get out the group. It's as simple as that. But it's whether or not they turn up or not. That's the main thing. What do you say on Iran Wales, mate?
I think Iran have a very good coach in Carlos Gutierrez. I think he's a very good coach. He always has been. They've got Mehdi Taremi, who not a lot of
Yeah.
people have heard of him because he's not really a high-profile name. But for Porto, he's got a very good goal record. And in my uni, I checked it earlier, and he has 28 goals in 60 games for Iran. So roughly a goal every other game, which is a really good record, actually, especially
Yeah.
for. So they've got a goal scorer, that's for sure. And they've always had a good defensive record over the last few years. They played in World Cup 2018. They got a draw against Portugal, 1-0. And they also frustrated Spain in large periods as well. And they were unlucky, not to get top two, really, in that group. It ended up being Spain and Portugal, but it was very tight. So Iran, they're no mugs, Iran. They really aren't. They don't have high-profile names, but they've got a strong, resolute squad and a very good manager, as well as a goal scorer.
So what are you saying on that game? Give me a prediction.
1-1.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it all depends on Wales myself. I think if Wales turn up, Wales win. But you just don't know what Wales are going to turn up. So I'm with you. I'll back the draw. Could be 0-0, could be 1-0. So yeah, I'm all over the draw. Next up, England versus USA. I'll be doing the watch along Friday, 7:00. What's your thoughts on this? I think this is an harder game than we all anticipate, really. We don't beat USA in competitions for some reason.
I think it will be a very hard game. It's the one game USA will really want to win. Same for Wales, sadly. They'll both smash us. But I think we'll turn them over. I think it will be the same for England as well. I think we'll really want to beat USA, and I think we will. And I think we'll beat them 2-0, to be fair. I think I can see a Harry Kane brace in this game.
I'm not convinced, mate. If I'm being honest on this one, I'm a bit nervous about this one. I actually think this is a draw all over it. I really do. I think the USA team know some of the English players, like Tim Rim will be in there, Robinson will be in there, obviously Aronson, Adams, to name a few. We just don't play well against this side for some crazy reason. And every time we've played them, we've always struggled against the USA national team. I think the way I look at this is it all depends on the first game. If England destroy Iran and play well, then the USA game, I think, could be a good game for England. If England don't, and England struggle to get past Iran, then this is going to be more tougher than I personally think. I'm going to say a draw on this one. I am. I think it's got a draw written all over this one. England USA, and England just don't beat this team. They just don't beat this team at all. So my money would probably be going on a draw. England versus USA. Finally, Iran versus USA, England versus Wales. Start off with Iran, USA. If Iran are out, this is the perfect game for USA, in my opinion. I think USA will win this game, because I honestly think it's a three-way shootout between England, Wales, and USA. I don't think Iran nowhere near it. So, what do you think on this, Iran, USA?
I think that'll be a close game. I think both are decent defensively. Both are relatively solid. Neither, Taremi Taremi, Iran have a very good forward, whereas the USA don't really have that vocal point up front. They'll be relying on goals from Pulisic, I assume, and he's not come into this tournament in great form, has he? So, I think it'll be tight. I do think USA might struggle to score goals at points. But I'm going to go with 1-0 USA.
I'm actually with you on that. Yeah, 1-0. I think USA are going to be the surprise package of this group. I really do. I look at Wales, right? I think England should get at this group. And I'm going to be doing a betting show tomorrow. And I do think USA can get at this group ahead of Wales. I really do. I look at their team. I look at what they they've got the energy. They've got a lot of experienced players who are playing in big leagues for big clubs like Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, Juventus, like teams like that. You don't go and get in them teams if you're rubbish. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think USA can get out this group, and I think they beat Iran to get out the group, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0, if not 2-0. I think USA will turn it on. Next up, England versus Wales. Big game, like big game for the UK. Let's put it like that. How do you see this going? Because yet again, we faced them not too long ago, and we drew with them 1-1. If I remember right, I think it was about 10 years ago we played them, and we scored in the 90th minute to win the game. What are you saying on this one?
I remember in Euro
2010, I think.
Euro
Yeah.
2016 we beat them as well, and
Yeah,
I was in my class at school at the time, and Sturridge scored last minute. But yeah, Wales actually came above us in the group. But if my predictions are correct and we beat the other two teams, I reckon we'll field a weakened team in this game, like the likes of Trent, Ben White, Connor Cody, the likes of them. So I think this has got 0-0 written all over it.
you reckon?
Yeah.
You reckon 0-0?
Yeah.
I
think it'll be a pragmatic game.
I feel if England draw this game, yeah. How can I put this? If England win the first game and they draw the second game, they have to beat Wales to finish top of the group. I don't think USA are going to sod up against Iran. I really don't. So I honestly feel that I think England will go for it against Wales and have to put in a performance of some note. Do you know what I'm saying? I think our second string side is better than Wales's first string.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I would say that. So whoever does come in, even if it's Trent, even if it's like other players, like even Grealish comes in and plays, and like rotate it. Maddison, even like some of these players can be rotated around. I actually think England are going to get the win against Wales. Right, I really do. I think it'll be tough, but I think England will get over the line. I think if Wales are destined not to get out the group, then they might not even give it anything. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it's more on England than it is on Wales for me. So I'm going to say England win this game. I'm going to say 2-0. I think England will come out and have a good go, and I think England have to finish top of the group. There's no two ways about it. They have to finish top. If they finish top, then the signs are good. Now, final part of this little string for England is predictions, West Ham Online. I want you to give me your predictions of how you see the World Cup going, who's going to win it, your golden boot winner, and basically star players, really.
I think I've not. The problem is with predicting how far England will go is I need to do one of them websites where I predict how every team does in their group, because the run you get's big in these World Cup. I've seen quite a few routes, and I think we're on the favourable part of the draw again, where the teams we could get aren't too bad, apart from France if we come second in the group. But then again, France have got a few injuries as well.
They have.
I genuinely think we'll get to the semi-final or the final. I do. But I don't think we'll win the World Cup. I think Brazil will win the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. I've got the Brazil national team here, and I look at their players, and I think, blimey, how are we supposed to get past them? Obviously, they've got Becker in goal. They've got Neymar, Rafinha, Vinny Jr., or what's his name from Real Madrid?
Vinicius Jr., yeah.
Yeah, Vinicius Jr., that's the one. He is my man to get the golden boot, and he's a great odds. Really is great odds for me. I do think he's the one who will score the goals for them. I think he does start, but I think he's excellent, mate, if I'm being honest. And I think he's highly underrated. They've got obviously Martinelli, Thiago Silva, Alves,
our very own Paqueta.
Lucas Paqueta's in there, Marquinhos. I look at their team and I think whoever beats them deserves to win the World Cup, in my opinion. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Brazil will win it. Who do I think will be sort of the main star over the course. I don't know. I think Argentina's got a few good players in their team. I really do. I look at Argentina's team, and I think it could be an Argentina sort of who are like dark horses for me to win it. Is there anyone who you think is dark horses to win the competition, Alfie?
Yeah. This might surprise a few people, but for dark horses, I'm actually going to go Spain.
Yeah,
They don't have a great forward line in terms of big names, but they do have a lot of pace and power down the wings. They've got Nico Williams now from
yeah.
Athletic Bilbao.
Bilbao, yeah.
Yeah, a very good midfield with Pedri, the likes of Koke, a very good defence as well. Goalkeeping options I like, including Robert Sanchez, but I think they played a guy again from Bilbao. I can't remember his name. Still got Jordi Alba. I like the forward line. I like Morata for Spain as well. I think he's always done a good job for Spain. And yeah, as I said, I think their forward line's underrated. And if I'm just going to get the lineup that they had in their recent fixture up quickly. So Spain FC, they won 3-1.
Yeah,
Gavi's another player, young player.
yeah.
But Ansu Fati, another good young player. I merit Laporte. I think that was an excellent signing, if you like, for Spain because he was going to declare for France. Carvajal, always been a great right back for Real Madrid. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Spain's team, and I think they've got a good manager in Luis Enrique. Obviously, it's not the best team they've ever had, but I'd say
Tough
they're
group. Tough
dangerous.
group they're in though.
Yeah, very tough group.
Like I look at their group, they've got Japan in there, and Japan have got a few good like slicksters in their team. Obviously Germany, Costa Rica, which I think will be the whipping boys, and then obviously Spain. Do you think Spain will win that group?
Yeah, I do. I think they're better than Germany.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I'm looking at their team there. I'm looking at some of their players. Obviously, they've got Torres at the back, Morata, obviously ex-Chelsea, Fatty, Busquets, Pedro, Gabby. Yeah, I must admit, for dark horses, I would say they are one of them. I also do feel that Denmark
Yeah,
are a little dark horse. No one's really mentioning Denmark, but I look at their group. They've obviously got France in their group. It's like France, Tunisia, Australia, Denmark. I think Denmark are a good shout to one, get out of their group. I think they get out of the group. And two, I would even fancy them to get to a quarter final or semi final, mate. I really do when I look at their team.
very good team. They got to the semi-final of the Euros, gave us a stern competition, that's for sure. Very good players as well. Damsgaard's not quite done it since going to Brentford, but we all know he's a very good player.
Yeah.
Got a few lads from Brentford, don't they, actually? They've got, his name escapes me now.
Norgard.
Norgard,
Norgard's
that's
in
it.
there.
Norgard. Obviously, they've got Ericsson. Very good team, actually. I'd say a very underrated team. And you don't get to a semi-final of the Euro for being shit.
Yeah, I agree. Norgard, Christensen, obviously Højbjerg for Spurs,
Yeah.
Jakobsen, Anderson for Crystal Palace, Dansgaard we've mentioned, Kasper Dorberg.
Christensen's they've got a very good midfield. Yeah, very good team. I'm just
and then you look at obviously Kasper Schmeichel in
also,
there.
James, they played France 25th of September 1-2-0. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Well, they've got France in the group. Do you think they would finish top of the group then? Because obviously their first game is Australia, so I'd fancy Denmark to win that. Then it's a toss of a coin who they've got sort of after that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be a lot tighter than people think. In my opinion, I think Denmark are a very good team, and I think France are nowhere near.
Well, they've actually got France first. I'm just looking at the fixtures. So, what do you reckon?
I think France are a very good team, but I don't think they're the team they were when they won the World Cup a few years ago. Because their midfield of Pogba and Kante are both injured, who have always been excellent for France. I rate the replacements in Camavinga and Tchouaméni, but it's not Pogba and Kante, and they're unproven at the World Cup at the moment. Varane's also getting older, which obviously isn't a good thing. And I think Lloris isn't very good anymore, if I'm honest. So I don't think France will have it easy anymore.
I don't know. I look at France's team. I've got France's team here. Obviously, Areola's in there, who is one of us. And I look at their team. They've got Kingsley Coman. They've obviously got Chiarte, who's at Liverpool. They got who else? They got Marcus Thuram. They've
Saliba.
got a lot. Yeah, obviously Saliba. I think Saliba goes and slots in that centre half position. I think Lucas Hernandez is in there. Dembele, obviously Mbappe. Basically, when I look at France, I look at their attack line. I think, you know what, their attack line, defensively, they look a bit suspect. I will say that, and maybe a little bit in midfield. But their attack line, if you've got Griezmann, Benzema, and Mbappe running at you, I'm not going to lie, I'd like to see a better front three than that. Do you know what I mean? Especially if
they've still got an excellent team. And by the way, Giroud, in my opinion, is sensational for France.
He is, and he's always up there to be like a top player for them. He really is. To finally wrap it up with this, is there any teams that you're looking forward to see in regards of players and like surprising teams for you? Now, there's one team that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and that is Canada.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing Jonathan David play for Canada, because I do rave about this man. I'll be honest with you. I've said he's a very, very good player. Obviously, they've got Alphonso Davies there. They've got a few tidy little players, Canada, and I think they are one of the, for an outside punt for me. When I do the betting show tomorrow, they're going to be up there to be getting out of the group. I think they can get out of their group. It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. I look at their group, and their group is awkward, to say the least. Obviously, they've got Belgium in there, Morocco, and Croatia. But I do think Canada could do a surprise package and get out of the group. Any team for you that you're looking forward to seeing with certain individual players?
I'm looking forward to seeing how Senegal adapt to not having Sadio Mane. Also, another team in their group that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Netherlands, because Virgil van Dijk's first World Cup, and I want to see how he fares. But just really quickly, the team I'm most looking forward to watching is the team I said will win, Brazil. And I'm going to make a statement. I think Neymar will get player of the tournament. And I think people will start realising just how good Neymar is. I don't think he's as far off Ronaldo and Messi as people think. He's off. He's not Ronaldo and Messi, but it's not a long way. And I think this is the tournament where Neymar truly establishes who he is.
Yeah. For me, if Brazil win it, I think the Golden Glove goes to Alisson. I did see a little punt earlier on Alisson to get the Golden Gloves. Now I look at Brazil's group, and I look at their sort of them in that group, and I think basically he's going to keep a lot of clean sheets, Alisson. Like, because I think it is going to be more Alisson and Edison, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, Alisson's sensational.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, obviously they start off with Serbia, and then obviously they've got Portugal in their group. And was they got Portugal? No, they've got Switzerland and Cameroon. So I look at that and I think they can keep a lot of clean sheets, Brazil. So Alisson for Golden Gloves would be not a bad shout for me. Wouldn't be a bad shout.
He's so good, Alisson. What do you make of the fact that Paqueta starts for Brazil over Bruno Guimaraes and players like that?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Like, I look at, he seems to just turn into a different player for Brazil. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how good Lucas Paqueta is in a very, very good side.
Yeah,
for me,
I'm excited to see that.
And I look at him and I think, right, if you are starting for Brazil, there's got to be a reason why you are a starter for Brazil. When you look at the talent that Brazil have, for me, we're going to see why he starts for Brazil. Obviously, our five lads who are there, obviously Kehrer for Germany. You've got obviously Deck for Quetta, Alfonso Areola, and there's one more that Now forget, yeah. Which Aguerd will be an interesting one. because he is like the rock of Morocco's team, like as in like their centre half. So we've got 5 players going away, so we've just got to be careful, really, that we just don't pick up any injuries. But I'm not going to lie. I look at Brazil, I look at Argentina, and I think it's out of them two who wins this. I think Portugal, with the Ronaldo thing, could cause in-house rest, so I'd stay well away from them. I do look at the likes of sort of Denmark and say Denmark are a tidy little outfit, and if they can click at the right time, if they can beat France in the first game and finish top of their group, I think Denmark will go very, very close to reaching the final, if not getting to the final. Do you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, it's and that's basically it, right? Really. Other than that, I look at other teams like Argentina. You look at their players, and I see Argentina. Well, it is with Argentina that irritates me. Every time I've backed them in a World Cup, I've looked at them. I look at their team, and they've got a lot of individuals, but they're not really a team.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to look at like a bit of togetherness, really, and I just don't see it in Argentina. Not saying that they can't win it. Obviously, Belgium are an aging side, but Belgium have still got some talented players, let's be honest, with De Bruyne in there and Hazard and a few others. So, yeah, we will see what happens. I will do that on the betting show. Any final thoughts or anything you want to discuss, West Ham Online, before we make a move?
Just a quick one. What do you make of Moyes being one of the coaches alongside Ten Hag and that going to the World Cup as a pundit? And our players are currently on holiday. I see Jared Bowen today's in Disneyland with Danny Dyer.
It ain't good, is it? Like, how would you assess that in your opinion? Because in my opinion, the players have gone away on holiday. I can get that for, like, it's like a mini pre-season, isn't it? That's basically what it is. The only problem is, if he's there for the duration of the World Cup, he's there all the way up to the 18th of December. Do you know what I mean? And we come back on the 26th of December. So I don't get why he's there, really. If that makes any sense. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed.
I think if he's there for the group stage and then comes back, I'll be like, oh, fair enough, because maybe we can do a bit of scouting for January. But anymore, and it becomes a bit, are the players going to get fat? I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way. If he's there to the 18th of December and he comes back on the 19th of December, how would you assess that? Because we're in a bad moment, going off sort of topic of World Cups, talking about West Ham. We're in a bad moment. Our manager's over there working as a pundit when he should be back doing, like, running the teams, doing the friendlies, getting like the likes of Bowen, Cresswell, Souček, Kufal, like all these players, Ben Rama, all these players ready to go for the 26th of December. How would you feel if he's still there on the 18th?
I'd be flabbergasted, really. I'd be like, what the hell's going on? But we've got a friendly versus Fulham, don't we? So I'd assume he's back for that, but you never know.
Yeah. I agree, mate. We just don't know nothing at the minute. What's going on there? Final question from me, West Ham Online. Is it coming home, yes or no?
Very close, but no.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I think this year has just been this World Cup's just been a disaster from 12 years ago, really, in my opinion. And I just don't think I'll be very, very shocked if England play the way they have played in the last two tournaments and manage to get to the final. Do I think England can win it? No, not with that defence. I don't think England can win it. Do I think England can get to a final? I think they can get to a final, but they need a lot of luck. They need a lot of teams to fall and England to be playing well. We will know in the first 3 group games of where England's at. If England come out the traps and put these teams away, then I think the whole country will be like, hold on a minute, we've got a chance here. Do you know what I'm saying? If they're on it. I think whoever takes out Brazil and Argentina wins the competition, in my opinion. I think Brazil, for me, they're favourites at 3-1. I think they are 3-4-1, and they're rightful favourites for me. And I look at Argentina. I wouldn't touch Argentina, in my opinion. I think them as second favourites are not worth the money that it's written, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't touch Argentina. France, always a good shout, always a good team. They know how to win tournaments. If you've got Kylian and Mbappe in your team, you're going to do well. Obviously Griezmann and a few others. But I don't know. I've got a little sneaky suspicion that an outsider could do some damage this year, like someone like a Spain, like a Denmark. Even a Belgium to a point. If Belgium are on it and Lukaku's playing and he's fit, then you just never know. So, yeah, we will see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up there. West Ham Online, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
No problem, crew, mate.
No worries, mate. No worries at all. Just don't play Among Us. That's what I'm saying, people, because it ends up becoming toxic. I'll be back tomorrow to do a little betting preview. I'll be talking about all the group games. I'll be talking about what my bet is for the group games, who's going to finish top of each group. And I've got a couple of nice little punts. So, yeah, check that out tomorrow on E20 Zone TV. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. It really helps me out. Hit that thumbs up icon. It goes a long way. Anyway, have a good Thursday. It is today. Right. And I will see you again in the next one. Come on, England. Don't let us down. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.